Full panel here with me now. Julia Manchester is the White House reporter for The Hill. Jessica Anderson. That's Jessica Anderson. She's a former Trump administration official. Kurt Bardella is a News Nation contributor, Democratic strategist. And let's show Julia, because she is the White House correspondent for The Hill. There she is, Julia Manchester, with us. Hello to you both. Thanks for being here, everyone. This is a big one. So the backdrop here is the Epstein files investigation. There were subpoenas sent out all over the place to you name it, at the highest level. And the holdouts were the Clintons. Mm-hmm. And now, Julia, it seems that they have negotiated, quote from a spokesperson, they negotiated in good faith. They look forward to setting a precedent that applies to everyone.
Yeah, that precedent is really key here because we know that Republicans obviously hold a very narrow majority in the House. And if Democrats were to flip the House, there is the possibility that they could call a number of Republican officials, including President Trump, to testify if they wanted to, or if it moved in that direction. And even beyond that, I think they could still, that they would still do that. So they're doing the political precedent thing. One thing I'm very interested in knowing, and we just chatted about this, is what does this look like to the press? How are those terms negotiated? I automatically think of Hillary Clinton's Benghazi hearings back in 2015.
You worked on the Oversight Committee for 5 years, in the minority and in the majority. You were telling me for a while that you thought eventually Democrats would sort of force this in one way or another. Now that the news is here, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we're coming up now on what was supposed to be the contempt vote, was supposed to be on the House floor this week. There's a lot of background negotiating going on with Clinton's representatives and the committee. They've been firing letters back and forth, trying to set terms. We'll do a transcribed interview. We'll do a deposition. We'll do this on camera, off camera. Interestingly enough, the lawyers that are negotiating for Clinton used to work for the Oversight Committee for Mr. Comer. So there's a lot of history and relationships here. And ultimately, the Clintons, the interesting thing about what they put out was that they will do something that will be kind of the standard, what everyone else is going to have to do. Right. That is foreshadowing what Democrats, if they get back the committee gavel, will do to Donald Trump and Republicans.
So, real quick, just what do you think is the likelihood here that this is there a transcript? Is there what's
Yeah, they'll do a behind closed door transcribed interview with the committee members, with the committee counsels will likely be leading that type of question and answer. It's basically a deposition. Ultimately, that will become public. It will get leaked by everybody under the sun. Right. And the interesting thing will be, are the Clintons going to show up there and basically just say what they've said publicly? We don't really know anything. We got nothing to say.
Politically, I think this is super interesting because it's coming 9 months before the midterms. So now we've inserted both Clintons back into the political dialogue, so much so that Trump ran his first time on Lock Her Up. Well, this is the first time she's actually being hauled into Congress. And so I think those pictures of her walking in will be in every single midterm, mailer, website ad to show that this is accountability for the Clintons that they have had long-time concerns with, not just the Epstein files.
I think the challenge for Republicans now in this happening is, how do you answer the question of, you wanted the Clintons, you got the Clintons. Why haven't you asked Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files? Why aren't you asking him those questions?
That's what that last line is getting at, which is a precedent that applies to everyone. Yes. And the threat is, well, if you hauled in Bill Clinton, a former president, set Donald Trump aside. I mean, keep him there. But any president down the line, they're basically saying, you open Pandora's box.
Absolutely. And the thing with these hearings, not just with the Oversight Committee, but it does seem like the Oversight Committee hearings do get particularly contentious. But these are, opportunities to have those photos splashed across campaign ads and mailers and on social media. You also have, particularly with the Oversight Committee, a lot of these younger members trying to get that soundbite, trying to get their faces out there. So I think it'll be interesting to see how, these figures are used as really political pawns.
The timing,
the thing
really
about a
matters.
transcribed interview that's going to be interesting is some of that won't be possible. Not every member gets to sit in on a transcribed interview. It's usually the chairman, the lead counsel, the ranking member, and his counsel, and that's it. It's not as much of a circus, and so there may not be those same moments in a closed-door transcribed interview versus a public hearing.
As they say, we'll see what happens, right? Speaking of, there is right now here in Washington the attempt to end a government shutdown. The bottom line is there could be a vote on the House floor tomorrow, which would keep the government open.
Yeah.
And then basically give us this 2-week run, give them, not us, give them, this 2-week runway of trying to negotiate what reforms to the Department of Homeland Security would look like. It seemed like the Trump administration today, Julia, made sort of a not a concession or maybe more of an olive branch as the DHS Secretary Kristi Noem came out and said, okay, ICE officers and CBP officers in Minneapolis are going to be wearing body cams.
Yeah, that was certainly maybe somewhat of a concession, but also President Trump putting out a Truth Social post earlier today urging Republicans and Democrats to work together, but even more notably telling, I think it was a message towards, Republicans in particular, not to add anything right now. Just get it done. He'll sign it immediately. You can negotiate the other stuff like the SAVE Act afterward.
But here's what Congressman Eric Burleson told me at the top of the show, and then we'll pick it up.
I do think that there's a number of Democrats that will join with Republicans to pass it as a rule.
How many Republicans like yourself do you expect to vote against?
Probably a good 2 to 3 dozen is my guess. I haven't been able to talk with a lot of my colleagues yet, but that's my guess.
That answer stuns you. Why?
That feels very high to me, with all respect to the congressman. I think the president has actually shown that the concessions matter, with 23 Democrats in the Senate that crossed over and voted for this package just 2 or 3 days ago. So I think what's happening is this is less about DHS, and for a HFC member such as himself, House Freedom Caucus, thank you, it's much more about spending and earmarks, and so we're back to the traditional conservative kind of right flank arguments. 2 to 3 dozen is a lot of House members to peel off, and I think Speaker Johnson has proven that he can navigate very tight margins, and I'd remind everyone tonight, right now, they are swearing in a new Texas Dem, so the margin is down to 1.
How far should Democrats push here, Kurt? Because at some point, they can't push too far because Republicans still run Washington at the end of the day.
Well, and this is where, again, you're not going to be able to defund ICE. That's not going to politically happen. And so you have to go with what's possible and what's publicly palatable. Most Americans would agree, hey, body cameras, not a bad thing. They've already done that olive branch, Secretary Noem saying, okay, in Minnesota, they will wear body cams. Well, let's just codify that across the board now. Every ICE agent will have to wear a body cam. Maybe the removing of the mask, identifying yourselves. These are things that normal law enforcement operations do every day that most Americans would agree, yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. Go for what's reasonable. Don't overreach, because if you overreach, you're going to end up getting nothing done.
Telling lawmakers to be reasonable?
I know. It's
Say it a little louder.
What am I thinking?
Thanks for rolling with the news, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Yeah.